Hello and welcome to the new episode of Frog Special. This time we are not building from scratch a gun. This time I'm gonna work on this nice P226, and this P226 is my personal one. Obviously it uses this beautiful tiny HPA GBB R conversion and special 3D printed mags, but generally this is not the topic for today's video, as the Frog Special series is not intended to be concentrated on the HPA. You see, this pistol is with me for like 10 years now, maybe even more. It was a TM pistol, the stock one obviously, then I bought the frame from Gardner, I replaced the barrel, lots of stuff, and over time some parts failed, so I need to replace them, and now it's like barely anything left from the original TM. It's beat up, you see there are some scratches on the slide here and there, some, you know, scars after deadly bloody combat. I figured out I'm gonna rebuild this. I like P226, it's kind of old design, but I have a big hand, I kind of like how it fits to my palm. It has this huge trigger guard, so when I keep my finger not on the trigger I can easily put it in here. I thought for a moment about switching to high capas. I built one for myself. I replaced all the parts to the best what I could get, you know, down to the tiniest screw, and then I shot it twice and I said, oh frog, this is not something suited for my hands. I'm gonna stick with P226 for some more time. This is also a nice UKSF gun. You know, probably you noticed that I'm kind of big on this. And I'm gonna rebuild it. Why? As I said, it's pretty beat up, it has some clearances and so on, but that's maybe not the biggest thing. My biggest issue with this gun is this rail actually. So this is a funny story, because originally I bought the R version from Red Wolf, and it was like, I say, like 10 years ago or something. I bought the frame and the slide, yeah? And they sent it to me, and when it came it had no rail. It was this regular version. So I claimed it, and they said that they don't have this rail version, they made a mistake, and I can send it back, so they will return me money. But obviously sending it back from, like, you know, Europe, Hong Kong or wherever they are, it made little sense. So I had to deal with it somehow, and of course you can imagine it's not possible to live without tons of stupid tactical accessories on the gun. So I had to mount this nice flashlight. Actually I had a lot of flashlights here. This is the latest one I like, and there was no way to mount it. So I got myself this rail, and this rail, I don't know if you still can buy it. It was available long time ago in like Airsoft, in eBay, even in AliExpress, some different shops. And generally the rail would be fine, if not the fact that it was utter shit, because it was not possible to assemble. It is the worst possible design, because what happens, or like how you mount it, is you just put it from the bottom on the frame, and you need to screw the screws here to tighten it. There are also screws under the flashlight. So you screw it, you tighten it, and you can imagine that these halves here on the side, they just come apart, yeah? So the stronger you screw it, sorry frog, the stronger you screw it, the more it deforms and it moves, and it's not possible to do anything about this. I have some custom shitty holster I use for this gun, and it's really pissing me off. So I figured out I will get myself a rail frame, and I will get rid of it. And additionally, I saw Gardner make some steel slides. So I like them very much. I want this to be as similar to the real one, so I said, okay, let's try it. Lots of the parts from the gun I will reuse, because they were already replaced to the steel parts, so you will see when I disassemble it. But similarly to like in the L119A2, I bought a ton of shit, so bam! So I have here a lot of parts that I'm gonna use. You see I have this beautiful frame with rail this time. Of course this is Gardner, what else could it be? I will be using this one. I have the steel like rear chassis or chassis, whatever you call it, however you read it. Yeah, I have a steel valve knocker, very nice. What is it? This is the steel trigger. and immediately you can notice that I'm kind of stupid because I didn't realize I bought 2 times the same part, so I have 2 slide catch levers. Maybe someone wants one. Or maybe I will figure out a way how to mount both at once on the gun. Yeah, then I have the decocking lever, of course steel garter, what else? I have this trigger lever, also steel from garter. Here I have the grips, also new, mine are completely destroyed, you will see why. I have some nice steel sights. When I bought them I realized maybe oh shit, it's actually nice. I thought I bought the regular ones, but these are the Luminous ones. Like, I surprised myself then, because I was sad that I bought the regular ones and I could buy the Luminous ones, because the more tactical stuff you can squeeze on the gun the better, obviously. And I was sad because I thought that I will have the bad ones, but for some stroke of luck I actually bought what I wanted. Okay, then I have this locking insert for the front of the pistol. Mine is damaged a bit. And I have this beautiful CNC slide for Marui P226 R. So there will be a lot of garter parts coming into the pistol. I will comment during the video what I think about these parts, also about the original parts I put here. Basically everything I replaced in here is garter, but you know, make it kind of talkative video. I will also explain how the parts failed, when they failed in the original TM. Like, this pistol probably shot like 25,000 times in different configurations through its life, so it's a lot. And like 23,000 probably was on HPA. And one interesting thing, if you care, is that actually this is the very first gun I ever built on HPA. I figured out when I started the project and the whole idea that starting with a pistol will be the least risk, because it requires the least pressure and so on, the smallest forces to operate, the lowest output and so on. So if I fail, it will not be that bad, and plus the milled part obviously is very small, so compared to like a rifle conversion, it's far less cost in case I fail, yeah, because obviously I didn't know that this gun will, or the conversions will work. I actually had no clue what I'm doing. Let's strip it a bit. I think I will start with the slide because I'm really curious about this beautifully packaged sausage. I want to see how it looks like. I withheld, you know, for weeks with these parts lying and waiting to record this video so that I can also do some kind of like, I would say unboxing, but you know, none of these parts in his actual box, so let's call it unbagging and unpapering of the parts on screen, and immediately I will share my impression. I think I did not finish that thought regarding this rail because I kind of talk a lot, as you noticed. So with this rail, what is annoying is the holster. Yeah, I have some universal holster I made myself, but it's really messy to use it, and with this flashlight so low, like, it's huge, it's like crap. Yeah, so I figured out that when I have the nice rail here, the flashlight attached the proper way and so on, I can buy like a ready holster or maybe make some custom one. But you know, to make a custom one I want to have a final gun, not some rail that pisses me off and I have to stay with it because I made a custom holster for this. So this is one of my motivations. Okay, I will start with taking off this flashlight. You'll see that this is, oh nice, this is Chinese Fire X400V. What I like about this flashlight is because this is AR plus visible. Yeah, there are also versions just visible or visible plus strobo. So or strobo. So I like those ones that have some modes because you can actually switch them completely off. Yeah, so this reduces the chance that by accident you will switch it on during night and it will give out your position. The same for like rifle flashlights. I really like this feature, plus laser, because you know how you can be a tactical guy without a laser. And here you see the basis of this pistol. Again, this was extremely shitty rail. I had to drill holes actually in the frame so that the screws catch those holes to reduce the movement. But anyway, it didn't help much, and it wobbled, yeah. Finally I glued it in place like crazy, and it stays, and the laser held 0. I damaged the frame this way and so on, probably. Yeah, it was a waste. I don't recommend this. So this is my original slide. It was pretty nice. Actually, when I bought it, this slide was completely not fitting to the frame. I had to polish the guides on it. When I stripped the paint, yeah, and I polished it, it started to move. Previously, it was not possible to move it at all. What is exchanged here is the spring, which is a strong recoil spring, obviously. I have this nice rod, the guide for the return spring. It's already garter, made of steel. The original one broke after like 20,000 rounds when, after a Milsim event, we were driven back in a car to the parking lot, and I started to shoot into the sky in euphoria. It was in winter and the original snapped, yeah, so nice. Then I have the chamber assembly, and here I have the, like, everything's garter. So I have the steel barrel with the thread. It's different kind of anodization than the main barrel. The main barrel was without the thread, so I had to, unscrew this part. I need to unscrew it anyway to remove the chamber, yeah. The chamber is also garter. It failed, the original failed, because this part was broken off at like, let's say 15,000 rounds. So I bought the aluminum one from garter. As always, if I am not using hop-up backing from VFC in the rifles, I'm using the Modify X range. So this is a 75. I think I had some left over, I had nothing to do with. In the rest, I have this cylinder, that is the garter. I broke off the pusher from the TM1, I don't even remember how. Also, this fake firing pin on the rear is some tuning part. Don't ask me what was it, I completely don't remember. So I will drop these parts I have here into the slide, but first let's open this slide, let's see what it looks like, because I don't really know what exactly I need from this, yeah, so bam! And then bam! Okay, so I have some fake pins probably, and I have this nice bag. And in the nice bag I have a nice paper. This really looks like I bought some sausage in Poland, or maybe some weird shaped bottle of vodka. Okay, and here is the slide. Actually, what can I say? I thought it will be much heavier. The finish is really nice, the markings are really nice. I won't be Navy SEAL anymore, so I'm kind of sad. Yeah, maybe I will commit suicide because of it. And this BB unit weighs nothing. Actually, it was in the description, yeah, it's from aluminum. And the fake pins, we will assemble this all in a moment, yeah. So this means that from the old one I will need the BB unit. I see I need the seal, my rear part here with the firing pin dummy. And the iron sights, I had them somewhere here. So let's do the iron sights. Bam! Okay, they are packed separately, looks kind of nice. I already see that I might have an issue, because here this has to be locked with a spring wire, and here, oh sorry, and here, I don't know if you see, I have a plastic clamp. Yeah, so probably TMs are done differently. I've seen that I can buy this wire here locally in one of the shops. This is especially for the garter, so I probably need to get it. I will not be able to attach the front side so easily. And the rear is regularly screwed like this one, so I will just put it like this so that these small parts don't fly around. Okay, and for the slide assembly, I think this is everything, but I really thought that this will be heavier. Like, it's not extremely light, but the point that I had in mind, or like the idea I had in mind, was that I will make the hardest kicking gun ever and so on. It doesn't seem so. If you look inside this slide, you see they made some savers. Yeah, maybe you see here, probably to make it lighter. Definitely this is very light, yeah, so they made it on purpose. And I would guess that the Reason is because on the green gas, if you overdo the weight of the moving parts, it will stop to work. Or maybe you will shoot 5 times and the cooldown will kill you. So for this reason probably they made these savers, which I'm not so happy about. I would like to make it, you know, again, real as possible. Especially that when I will be using the HPA conversion, I don't care about any kind of cooldown. Yeah, I can put in the gun whatever I want. Let's do it this way. I will put this quickly together. I will check the weight of the assembly I had. Then I will transfer the parts here. I will use this lightweight BB unit too. I will compare the weights. And let's see, if I gain something, then maybe I will leave it with the new parts. If not, then maybe I will try the old part. Who knows? Okay, let's see. 282 grams. So to do the whole assembly in one go, I will probably start with disassembly. And for this, I need to remove 2 screws from rear here. Oh, this part is actually loose already. Okay, so one went out. And the second one out. And there will be a lot of mess. One thing that could be of interest for you when you want to build any kind of P226 girder conversion on Marui is that in case of Marui, you have some features in this BB unit here on the sides that go into the plastic. So in the plastic they are like savers similar to these ones on the steel part, and you basically unbend the plastic, you put it in. And the reason why they have it is because the slide is obviously plastic and it's weak material, and it ensures better assembly, let's say. In the aluminum frame there are just straight walls, so you see I had to brush it off. It was very long time, I was not so skilled, and this is how it looks like. Yeah, so I had to do it in order to be able to insert this. Even with these features on the sides, if I were to use the steel slide, I would not insert this because I would need to bend it, and you know, with steel part probably I would bend myself quicker than I would bend the steel, right? Okay, let's clean it up. Also, one more thing regarding the slide itself. The slide is kind of nice. It lasted for a very long time, as you see. It's not like crazy damaged or anything, but paired with the steel barrel, you can see here on the front some deformation happens. Yeah, so it's not again like crazy, you know, but you know, it's weaker metal again hitting against stronger metal, so some wear is always there. Other than this, it's a nice part. So I can remove also this fake pin here, yeah, this tiny spring, the pin and so on. And I need to remove my cylinder head. This cylinder head, I don't know if this is not some element actually. It was pretty cheap, I don't remember the source. But I bought it when I was using the green gas. I hope it will help with performance and so on. And it was helping with literally nothing. Because that's the beauty of guns for the green gas when you have cold weather, but they are basically not working whatever you do. It's nice, the pin used to be black many shots ago. Let's clean everything up. So after cleaning this a bit, you'll see how the assembly will progress. I start with the side obviously. Let's take out these parts and let's see what do I do with them. I think we have 4 pins here because this was like one version is the early type and one is the old type, whatever this means. And we also have this shell ejection part. I probably will start with the shell ejection part. This is pretty easy because there is a cutout here I see. I probably just put it in. And maybe the BB unit will hold it in place, that's what I would guess. Okay, so it goes in like this, no problems here. It actually moves like a real one. Although after I put in the BB unit it will probably stop. One thing, it's like loose, so let's wait with this. Let's start with the pins and which ones I prefer. This will go here from the inside. I need to push it in, maybe this will be a bit tricky. and then will be secured with the BB unit. I think I'm gonna go with the silver ones. Let's see the fitting. So I put it from the inside. I don't need any glue, and these parts are so small I don't know how to show this on camera, but you see I can push it with my finger and it kind of stays, so probably that's good enough. Okay, the second one the same. Let's just quickly check the BB unit. Yeah, nice. Okay, I think I will apply some glue anyway, because this BB unit went in so easily that I'm afraid that it will fall out and wobble and piss me off. So to get there I need just a drop, and I need to apply it in there carefully. Okay, and now this shell ejector goes into the cutout on this side. I don't know how well it is visible, but like these parts are so small, it actually moves. Nice, and if I drop in the BB unit, does it move? Well, it moves. Glue or no glue? Like in the reality it also should move, and I think it will be striking against the barrel, so maybe it will move when you shoot. Like, let's check. Does it make sound? No. Now this part, I will put the lube into the cylinder, not to this part, so you can just put it in dry, simply one screw. For the handguns I usually use some silicone oil in spray, so I will just spray a bit here, maybe a bit here, and then I can put it in. The return spring for the nozzle, the little guide, and this goes in. When I put this in, I need to push in the pin through here, so that it goes in completely. Like, this is extremely easy right now. Maybe I will also need to disassemble it later to make the conversion work, but for now, let's see. Now this rear portion, I need to take out the side. Like the front side, again, I don't have this spring. I will just check the fitting after I do this one, but later I will have to assemble it. Yeah. Let's see if this is actually luminous. Okay, I had a look, and shit, this is really luminous. So now, what do? We take this fake pin, bam, then we take the tiniest, weakest spring possible, bam, we slide it here, bam. From this side we put this part in, nice, everything fits perfectly, and I drop my two screws. I would use Loctite for these screws, the weakest one. You saw actually mine, you know, it was loose, yeah, but I'm not sure how it will work. I'm not sure if I will not need to disassemble it quickly, especially that maybe I will be filing off this part for the conversion. I don't know if you know what I mean. If you haven't seen my how to convert video, then probably you don't. Maybe you will see later in this episode. But for this reason I don't want to make it too difficult, yeah. If this will be the final assembly, I will fix those kind of issues. And my screws from the previous gun are definitely too long because this moves. So I have the alternative. These were M2 x 10. I have some M2 x 8 here. But I already don't like them because they are these kind of conical head. They are to be used with very tiny hex key, and it's extremely easy to strip this head. So again, for now, I guess it will work. So I can put the front side in here. Yeah, like the fitting is really nice, everything's really nice, just no clip. Wait, well, it happens. Okay, so in this case, I will throw in the barrel. I'm not lubing this much because I will need to disassemble it in a moment anyway. So I try to keep my hands clean, let's say. And let's put in the guide. And this is what I will get when I finish. So it's a little used up anyway, you know. It's not like brand new, but this is not the goal. It's really, really solid, I'd say. I already know it should be heavier, yeah. So no surprise. And from what I see, it's like, if I remember correctly, it's like 80 grams more. So it's a lot. So probably I don't need that old BB unit. I will not overdo it. It's pretty fine now. And now I could try if it fits to the frame. Definitely it won't because I have the conversion here. as you can see, but I will try to slide it over anyway to see, let's say, how bad this fitting is. So it reached the conversion, but it's not sliding anymore, so this was like predictable. This rear part with the firing pin actually slides over the conversion, but later the BB unit blocks. So if I look here, I probably could see some damage on it. I can maybe do it with a little more energy so that I have some marking. Okay. And I see a bit of grease left over here, which is attached to the conversion. So like looking on this was obvious that it will not be okay. If you see, my BB unit has this height reduced to 1.4 millimeters. Here the height is 1.74, let's say 1.8 millimeters. And you also see I filed off this steel part when I was doing the conversion to my pistol, and it's basically lower. If you look from the side on the camera you won't see, but it's clearly visible it's too high, yeah? So I will need to file it off later. But again, I don't have the front sight attached, and I'd prefer to have the complete lower frame ready before I start filing and so on, so that I'm matching it against the real counterpart, not some old one, yeah? So for now this is all. I put this slide aside the way it is. Later I will do the fitting in here. I'm not relubing anything. If I need to file, it will be easier to clean it up if there is no lube anywhere anyway. So this is it for now. Let's now have a look into the frame. Probably I will do it this way, that first I will unbox or unbag the parts for the frame. I will put them in some order, and then I will be removing part after part from the lower frame here, and whatever I see that is, let's say, missing, I will be putting into the pile of new parts, and whatever I see I already have in the new parts, I will be basically, you know, putting away. So the first part I want to see is this, obviously, the lower frame. Finally, after years of crying during the nights, having wet nights, pissing myself and so on, I have the railed frame. Finally. Okay, let's open it. Okay, this is already the second layer of bags conquered. Let's conquer the third one. Nice, very light. And there is these two parts. Actually, you know, I'm not gonna wait till I assemble different stuff. I'm gonna mount this now. I know exactly where it goes. In my old frame I had the same, actually, like this frame and this frame is exactly the same, only this one is 10 without the rail and this one is with the rail. So kind of, you know, I know what I'm doing. With the steel slide, this was something new to me. Here it's one-to-one the same. I remember I didn't glue it in, and I think it's true also now, but to avoid, you know, doing some ugly damage, I'll assemble this off screen, and then under the camera we will see how the frame looks like. And on the pictures of the real Zig, I see it's oriented like this, so I did it the same. And the same on this side, it looks nice. Yeah, now let's appreciate how this part looks like. So it's really nice texture, much better than the 10 part on the other frame I have. Apart from this, what else could I comment? Like, I'm not sure. I'm sure though that it will lie in my hand exactly the same way as the previous one did. If we are to compare them side by side, the biggest difference obviously is the rail. And again, nice texture here. This was like slippery always, yeah, from the beginning. And the next one will be the pistol grips. And here I have an interesting story. When I bought this 10 frame, there were no threads in here. Right now I see they have the threads, but I had an issue. I had to thread it myself. I did it incorrectly. The threads were stripped very quickly, and I replaced these screws like 100 times. You will see when I assemble what a mess I created. Here I have some nice screws, some pins to add to the grips. So like, oh, that's a nice plastic. Like I have the TM plastic. Obviously it's already slippery and used up, but it was never that nice, so I like these parts. And these pins and screws, I don't want to lose them. I will assemble it to the frame when the time comes. For now, I just put it aside. Here the rear chassis, or how you say it. That's interesting. You noticed this paper was like covered to the inside. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so again, nice steel part. I bought the steel one because I read one comment that a guy had the aluminum one and the steel slide torn it off. Yeah, so hopefully it will be better. And the internals, I have steel in my frame, so I don't need this, because you can also buy a complete set. Okay, now I have the frame here and the attachment screw. In my case, this part is very loose already, and it's moving, so I figured out if to make a full rebuild, let's get this part also. This is aluminum, this is not this sheet metal that they use in TM. Then I have the trigger lever. Like, this is a nice workshop style part. I really like it, and it's a pity it will not be visible from the outside. It has nice appearance. The cocking lever, maybe. This will also have the same appearance. Let's see. Oh. This part is much more shiny, but anyway, looks good. And the next one is the slide catch. So I already said I have two of these slide catches. I'm not gonna assemble both of them. Okay, so similar appearance to the cocking lever. Good for me. Now I have the hammer. Okay, nice heavy hammer, all steel, all garter. This is the trigger, and this is the late version of the trigger. Maybe it's even, yeah, it says early type. So yeah, when I said late. This is the early type, and for this reason I figured out I will use the early type pins too. So the next step that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking out these parts and adding them to the pile, but it's too much to have in one place. So I will put this all aside for the moment, and only for the assembly I will bring it back somehow at once on the screen. So, okay, so the disassembly, let's make it quick with interesting stories. This is the first story, garter part. I needed it because I accidentally set my regulator too high in pressure, and it shot so hard that it blew off this part completely from the gun. Yeah, so how do you remove it? Push it like this. Okay, nice, come on. This was for the takedown lever. I'm gonna use it. Let's take off the grips. This will be quick. So here the next story. As I said, I had to make the threads for these exact screws, and they were damaged very easily because I made them incorrectly. I enlarged them like 2 times. I don't even remember, but it ended this way, that the screw heads of the screws I needed to use, oh frog, they were, you know, they had so big heads that they barely went into these holes, and you see how they crushed the plastic. Yeah. So that's the story behind it. So I won't be using the grips anymore, and if I'm here already, I will take this lever out. The spring I keep, and this metal part from the bottom I keep. The lever was bended, I don't even remember how, but I have a replacement. Now this side, same story with the screws, nobody remembers. So second half gone. This I will actually need for the conversion. Okay, not to lose the spring here. I needed actually all these springs I am taking out, they are from a Garder set, so they are already tuning springs, let's say. Okay, this part I don't have, I need this, and these two parts I also have only here. I don't have the second ones. This is the spring from Garder for the strong recoil set, and this rod, whatever the name is. Okay, so now I can take out the conversion. Two screws on the rear. This is the first conversion that ever existed. So first screw out. Okay, second screw out. And the conversion. A little dirty. As I said, like 20k rounds and still running. Okay, now I have the pin here. I will need the pin from here. Okay, now I can remove this. Here you already know I have the frame and the hammer, but for now I'm gonna keep it. There are lots of exchanged parts here. I will replace them all later. I don't want them to fly around, there is a lot inside. And I don't need the screw because I noticed here, actually there is the screw. I don't know if you see it, maybe. It's barely holding, yeah, the thread is so used up. And I have a new one in the kit, I don't know if you remember, so I want the new one. Here I can take this part out. And similarly to the rear assembly, I'm gonna keep it like this for a moment, and I will swap the parts in between the assemblies. When I will be doing this, I'll take this apart, no need to take it apart yet. And then we are left with just the last components. So the mag catch part with the return spring, again, the spring is Garder. And I had some issue here, honestly I don't really remember what was wrong, but for some reason it was wrong and I had to shim it, so I glued a piece of aluminium here. Maybe we will find out later what was wrong. And the last parts I need, so I need the mag catch. I wanted to buy a steel one, but it was not available anywhere. So maybe in the future when I see some occasion I will get one. And this plate. So this is the original TM plate, I believe. I glued it, yeah, and I don't even remember if this was not available anywhere or what, but I don't have it, so here is mine. Okay, and this way I have my complete set of the parts from the old pistol that will go into the new one. The new parts I already shown, so what's left? Just let's take them and start the assembly. Yeah, and this is how the frame looks like. You know, it's torn in few areas, it has the conversion attachment obviously, but overall it's like really good. Yeah, it's not damaged or anything, it really lasted those shots. Really good product. The only issue was the wrong version they sent me. Other than this, I don't really have any complaints. If not for the rail, it could serve me much longer, and the only issue obviously with these crazy threads. You see what I did. So now back to the new parts. I need to prepare the lower frame, and for this I will need to drill holes for the conversion obviously. So now the part is dry and not lubed. It will be very easy to clean it from the debris after drilling. So I will start with this, and to have the measurements properly done I need to insert this part too, yeah, because These two parts have to be positioned in relation to each other. So I just quickly push this in. Actually there's some resistance. It's not so easy. Let's see. And I already see it doesn't fit like 100%. You see there is a gap here. Okay, so check this out. I mounted this part, and on this side I pushed in the pins, and here it's nicely aligned. Everything's okay. But here it's actually like small step, yeah, and the pins went through, so something is misaligned. And this is not a big deal probably, but I tried to assemble the slide. It goes with resistance, and I looked for the scratches, and the scratches are actually here, yeah, so here and here. So this thing on this lightweight BB unit is too high. I need to file it off anyway for the conversion, so I don't mind, but this is something interesting I wanted to show you. Anyway, I will continue now with the holes for conversion attachment, then I will look on this thing. Okay, so in the meantime I got this beautiful front side clip, obviously garter, what else? Thermal treatment, nice. Oh, this will be something. And I will mount the front side, so very quickly. 1, 2, this goes here, and the clip goes inside. Which way? Like this or like this? Like this. If I try to do it other way around, there will be not enough space for it, so let's figure this out. I already see this will be pain in the ass. And I attached this clip somehow, although this was a fight. Important is that it's attached pretty nicely, pretty solid. In contrary to the plastic clip from TM, and here you see this was just one huge wobble. So now simply this one. Okay, so this way the slide is finished. Although I will still need to file a bit here for the conversion to fit. That would be later steps. So I made the cleanup. You see I have my prepared slide, and already I have the frame into which I assembled the conversion. So this step is done, and I worked a bit on the steel part here. So I'll show you what I found. In general, as I showed, this side was 0.34 millimeters lower on the steel part than on this aluminum rear rail, let's say, yeah? So it was bad. And on this side it was quite perfect. And it happened when I pushed in the small pin here and the big one here. So what I did, I removed the part. I thought about this for a while. I think that the steel part basically has warpage, and that's the reason why it's shaped like this. What I noticed is that here on the rear there is a small shelf that is on touch with this aluminum frame as a support, and it was completely loose, let's say, when the alignment here was more or less acceptable. So what I did, I used few layers of aluminum sheet, like glued them in that place, and then when I pushed in this pin, you see that here it's almost okay. This is 0.1 millimeter lower, and on this side it's a little higher, maybe also 0.1 millimeter, but it's better to have it, you know, tilted 0.1 millimeter higher on this side, lower on the other side, than have it perfect on this side and completely bad on that side. The issue is that I'm not able to push in this big pin, because if you look closely, I don't know if this is visible, this hole in the steel part is misaligned with aluminum. So what I'm gonna do, I will take a tool for the Dremel, like the pin with a diamond structure on it, and I'm gonna insert this, and I will polish this metal part, the steel part, so long until I'm able to push in the pin without any serious deformation here on top. Here you see where the sheet was glued, yeah, so I glued it here. There is a support in the frame, so it sits on it, it doesn't go that down. And this is pretty dirty inside. You see a lot of debris after drilling the holes for the conversion. In general, if you want to see how to assemble the conversion, there is a special video on it. I think I said it. I will not be explaining at all how to do it in this video, but this hole here is the one through which this pin should go, and right now this is the hole that is so tight. So I need to make it a bit more open, yeah? So let's do the dremeling. And you see, I was able to push in both pins. Actually, when they both are in, it's like okay. And this side, you see that the pin went all the way through, yeah? And this side is maybe at 0.1 millimeter lower, yeah? So like really good result. I will push out these pins now because I need to assemble this rear part, so I will start with it. I will do the cleanup, and on the assembly steps I will show you how exactly I did it. Also, for check of the conversion and stuff, I will need this front part. So I will do both, yeah, and then we will be back. Maybe in the meantime I will already file the BB unit for the conversion, I'll see. Therefore, I have the slide modified for the conversion. It's nicely polished. Now when I assemble the conversion into the frame, I can slide it over. Everything is perfectly matched, like in the video I have somewhere regarding this assembly. And now I will be doing the front inner frame and the rear one. I will start with the front one, maybe because it will be just a bit quicker, and this has to go first into the gun from what I remember, and then I will also do this one. So here I replace almost everything. Let's take the old one. There will be this pin I need to reuse because these levers I have. Yes, and here I have the trigger from which I just need the spring and this part. And the last thing, I need to take out this tiny little spring in there with this part that locks in place the takedown lever. So let's take it out. And with this part clean, I can start putting this together. So this I put aside, obviously. So it goes in this way. In the meantime, I can put in the pin. And now this could be a bit tricky. I need to push in the spring and catch it with that pin. Goes into the groove here. It's a tiny screwdriver. Didn't work. Okay, and it's attached. Actually, this was much simpler than I expected. So for the trigger, I need all these parts, and the first one, this one will go, and then this one. I have to slide it in here. Okay, and now these two, like this. Okay. Okay, and I drop it in from this side. So if I'm right-handed, I do it like this, with the button here, and the spring should face the other side, and the button should be inserted from this side in case I'm left-handed. And then this plate covering it, you can mount it on the side that the button is not on it, yeah? So this we need to slide into our mag catch. Okay, and now it springs back. Okay, so this part is also ready. Now let's do this one, the most complicated. I already prepared it. The steel one is cleaned up. I have some parts that are removed, and I need to do the same here. So 2 screws, and my internals apart from the hammer are steel, so I'm putting all of them into the new housing here. Okay, and we can take this shell out, and here we have one part with the spring, then the hammer that I don't need, and the valve knocker which I need with a spring, and there was a second spring on this in this groove for the valve knocker. So again, this goes aside. Okay, so now back goes the valve knocker, then the spring. You orient it like this, so the shorter side here on the pin, and this bended side should go over the hammer, the valve knocker, and this shorter side should go here over the valve knocker. Okay, so it's pushed down generally, yeah, that's the point. Then we can put in the hammer. Like, I will add a lot of oil later, yeah, and it will penetrate. For now I want to check if I don't need to file the hammer, if it cocks with this modified slide for conversion and so on. So for now I will just assemble it like this. Then we will put in this part. This part is going here. And we do it like this, so the tip, straight tip catches this part, pushes it down, and this bended tip goes under the portion of the frame on top. This we can close. Okay, and now the longer screw to the front, the shorter one to the rear. And how it's working, it's when you push here, you can rotate the hammer, yeah? So if I move it back, it clicks, then I can release it. And on this side, we need to join the valve knocker with this pin on the rear, with the spring we took out from the old part, or I took out, and I can do it now, because even if I will need to remove the hammer, it's on top of the valve knocker, so I will not be removing this part anymore, yeah? So I can just push this spring in here, and now when I release the hammer, I can push in the valve knocker, and when I move it back, you see how the valve knocker hides, yeah? This is okay. And this part, I don't need to assemble it yet for my check. In general, we'll do it in just a second. First, I will put these assembled components in here. Okay, and then pin it. Okay, and here the surfaces are aligned. I forgot to show you how I modified the part, but I will remove it at least once, so I will show you then. Okay, so now you see that it's cocked. I need to decock it, yeah. Support it maybe with my finger, and I can slide the slide on. I don't need to have the conversion yet, yeah, but what's important is that right now, because I filed that portion of the BB unit, maybe the hammer will not cock, so I need to really check it. And the best check would be if it behaved, let's say, naturally, so I will insert also these parts. So I have the spring with the rod. You see how the resistance for the hammer comes from it, yeah? If I release it now, it works, and I have the support block. But anyway, what I want to see, if I reload the pistol, if the hammer will catch in position. Okay, so you see it doesn't, so I need to file the hammer just a bit. And here you can actually see, if I release it, yeah, again, let's show it. So I pushed the slide back, yeah, it could be a bit loose, but here it didn't click. But if I remove the slide, it actually stayed in this position, yeah. So it means that this gray part holds the hammer, probably it's called sear. So this sear holds the hammer on friction, and if I need to lock it, it's just like tiny bit, yeah, and it's already locked. So it's really on the edge, yeah. I don't need a big modification here. I will do it in a moment. I will take out this whole assembly, modify it so that it works, and then show you how it works where I modified it. And important is to have some free movement, yeah, so that it is not like on the edge right now, because it will fail sooner or later. I want to have some like ½ millimeter more travel, which allows for this action to happen. I figured out a better way to show it, actually, is to show it on unmodified part and the modified part. So this is the original TM part that was modified the same way I'm about to modify this garter steel part. And you can see here when this tooth is, This one is silver because it's polished. If you look closely, it had this flat edge, let's say, and this one, when it was stock, it had the same size. Right now, if I compare them like side to side, you see that the black one underneath is just a bit bigger. So I need to do the exact same thing. And if you wonder, because this is this hardest case of the assembly I explained in the P226 conversion video, meaning I had to attach the conversion, then file off the BB unit, then the hammer was not cocked, so I am filing it now. This happens in a good quality guns where there is good fitting between the slide and the frame, because then you need to file off more of the BB unit. Yeah, if the slide is very loose, then you barely need to file anything, and for this reason you don't maybe need to do it. I'm gonna file it as I said. If you wonder if like this doesn't impair the function or anything, this is the stock TM part. It lasted for 20+ rounds. No issues, still works. I'm replacing it because I'm building the ultimate pistol, not because it's worn out. Yeah, it was working perfectly. You can see how I modified it. So the surface is also silver here. Yeah. If I compare it one-on-one, it's more or less the same. Yeah, I already tried that it works. If we are here on the big zoom, I will maybe assemble this again on big zoom just to show. The valve knocker like this, the short tip on the top, the long tip on the bottom, pushing the valve knocker down. Okay, on the hammer, on these two locking teeth here, I like to put some Teflon, so I'm already doing this because I don't plan to open it again. Everywhere a bit. Okay. Okay, then this one is the counterpart, so also a bit. I will then add some mineral oil, yeah, so it will be very smooth. Here the spring goes bended down, bended perpendicularly up, so like this. Now I can close it. This is the first time these parts will be running in these new aluminium frames and so on, so there will be a lot of powdered anodization and so on flying around, yeah, before this breaks in. So I want to add very big amount of the oil, lube and so on, and when I will be cleaning this, you know, there will be a ton of black sticky goo inside, which will be all these filed off debris. And later when it breaks in, it will be better. So remember, on this side we have that spring. One more thing, I was supposed to show you how I modified this part so that it sits in the frame. So the glued part, you know, and on this side I filed off, maybe you can see this somehow, but it's silver inside, so I with that Dremel tool I enlarged it a bit. Actually this hole was chamfered, so I enlarged it so much that on the bottom there is no chamfer anymore. And that's it. And here also there will be one part, so maybe you know. So before I assemble this, I will put in this part. I think it should be doable, at least in my gun it was, in this order. So it goes in like this. I removed that screw that was in front, and there is a spring that I need to put in here. Yeah, okay, so like this. The lever has to go inside, one and the other. Okay, so it's nicely in. For the moment it can stay loose, and let's see if I can do it like in my old gun, if I can put it in. And here I need the spring, of course, and this part I need to compress this spring a bit in order to be able to insert this. So I'll put it like this, then the spring goes in here. Okay, I need to push the spring under this part. Yeah, it's okay now, and I can try to assemble it, but I don't see what I'm doing, so I need to rotate it like this. Okay, and let's see if it goes in. And it actually went in like I remembered. So the issues I had to put it in was this slide locking lever, so I had to push it up and then it went nicely in. At the last stage I needed to pull this lever to the front to make it jump, because it was blocked too, but it's fine. Therefore the pins now go back. I punched them on camera in already a few times. I will not do it again, I will just do it off screen. So right now I could secure this part so that it's not moving, yeah, this part. But before I do it, I know some issue from the previous situations. So let's see if this lever works. You see it's jamming like I expected, and this is because here there is not enough clearance between the lever and the side wall of the frame. Actually, I actually remember this from one gun. So depending on the situation, sometimes it goes up easier, sometimes not. What I need to do about this is to remove this lever, bend it to make it basically like, you know, a little flatter so that it doesn't touch so hard to the frame here, and then this spring in the magazine and the follower would be able to push it out. Right now this wall here is in touch with the arm, so the arm is scraping on it, and I will fix it before I will screw in this front frame or this front insert. I improved it. If I put the magazine in right now, you see that the lever, even without any lube, goes up, so it should be okay. And it has to break in like everything, so for the start it's fine. The issue was on this bend. Yeah, this is the old lever. So on this bend it was some extra material on top, let's say, of the surface, so I fired it off. I decided not to bend this, not to make it more difficult. I just filed this corner a bit and it's fine. Now I will screw in this front part. I don't want this to fall apart. Okay, nice thread. Okay, now I have the pins on the rear, I have the screw on the front, so everything will stay in place and I can finalize my assembly. While I still have nice access, I will add some oil here and there, so side, here, there. Okay, and I'm adding a lot because I know that this all is brand new and I want it to go really everywhere. It will be leaking out like crazy, but I'm fine with it, and I will wipe it off in case I need to, yeah, but it's completely dry now. I don't want this. Okay. For this moment, I think I'm okay, and the rest of the parts I will be... Actually, let's put in the takedown lever already with some oil. So, bam. Okay, so the takedown lever works. Actually it lifts up, that's a little funny, but okay, whatever. You can already mount this screw. It was here in a bag. Here we have nice good thread, not like in my old part. So the front, I believe, is assembled. Now for the rear, I'll start with the conversion. I can put it already in. Okay, and with the magazine, just to make sure that it fits okay, it will not be too tight or something on the clearance between the conversion and the mag. Okay, should be fine. Yeah, the mag removal is pretty nice. Now this part, better to insert this with hammer decocked. This one's okay. Then the spring, then the support. This is the plate I spoke about, so let's open it. Where is it? Bag inside the bag. The only part that is not guarded from these external parts is the mag catch, so probably I will replace it one day when I can find one. And I have this tiny screw. Well, do I really need this? I don't think I can actually screw this in place. If I put it on the other side for the left hands, there is this depression here, and I believe the screw goes in nicely and it's flat, right? But if I go on this side, if I screw it, like let's give it a try. Let's give him a chance. Anyway, I'm right-handed, I will not be changing the sides on the mag catch. Okay, let's try to catch if there's some thread or something. Like, not really. Like, it goes really hard. I need some specialized screwdriver, I will damage this. But first, let's see if it can even fit, because if I put this over... okay, there is enough space. Okay, so I need to tighten it. I'll do it off camera, it will be a little bit easier for me. Okay, now it seems fine, so the grip has enough space to cover this head anyway. So then the screw goes like this again. I think I showed it already. And I can put in the half of the grip, and I'll add those 2 screws already because I know everything's fine on this side. On the first one, the second one. With these screws in my old frame I had a big issue because it was really easy to strip the threads, so don't overdo them, yeah? Now I look on this side and you see I have a new hose, by the way, and then I need to put the hose attachment here. This is related to conversion only. This arm will go here, of course. These 3 pins, they go into these 3 holes here. They keep the grip together in these areas where the screws are a bit further away. So we just need to press them in. They go quite nicely. I can press them a bit more, maybe. So somewhat like this. By the way, you see, like you remember I had the issue that the cocker is not working, so you see here what I modified. So there was a wall here right now. If you look, this area is kind of not so nicely like molded because I had to file it off. The issue was that this spring, which goes here, yeah, if I rotate it, so the spring is here, was in collision. I don't know if I have the E2 spring because it's tiny bit different or what. Like, I think this is not the original Marui spring because I bought the garter springs for the gun some time ago, but I don't really remember. Anyway, right now when I filed it off, it will fit nicely. And one interesting thing is how to check this kind of stuff. You can see these orange paint markings here because I painted this orange on the surfaces on this spring because I kind of suspected that it will be it. And I looked for imprints where the touch is, and this way I found out that the touch was here, and then I used a ball end Dremel tool to file it off as much as needed so that the lever works properly. Okay, so now I need to deal with this one. So it's attached now and I can close this. So first let's line it here. Then I go with the grip and the pins. I must nicely fit there. And now those 2 screws. Again, not to strip anything. So, seems like okay. Let's do a quick function check. You see the cocker works. If I even move it a bit, it nicely returns to the position, so there is no blocking. Yeah. Let's see the magazine. Oh, I need to put the hose in the middle. Okay. Okay, now the magazine fits. No issue to remove it. It's all okay. Slide lock works. It seems like everything works. Pretty nice. Therefore, what is left to be done, because I relubed everything on the assembly, everything should be okay. There is one missing item, of course, the flashlight for ultimate tactical appearance. like without a flashlight and laser, you would be lost in the modern world. Yeah, so let's attach it. Everything fits nicely. Everything's okay. So what is left now is to shoot this a bit and see how it performs. I'm really curious because, you know, I shot it a few times now. It's improved. This should work much better. Let's take a tank and let's connect the pressure. Let's make some shots. I shot the gun a bit and I see I have still some small issues, and pretty funny because when I load the gun with a magazine that has BBs in it, everything's fine. If I load the gun with a magazine that has no BBs or just shoot it without the magazine, then it doesn't cycle. So I already checked what is wrong, and apparently the issue is in the seal, in the cylinder. Meaning that the seal I showed, the head of the cylinder does not expand well enough to retain the pressure. So if I have the BBs, there is enough back pressure to open the seal, let's say, and it works. But if there is no BB, then the pressure escapes and I'm not able to shoot normally. So I bought this new seal from Gardner. These are much easier to expand than these regular O-rings. Showing this very quickly, you need this kind of screw in there, right? And you just squeeze the seal on top of it, like this. And this is mounted, yeah? And when you insert the cylinder, if you have a seal like this, you will notice it's, you know, you need to like push it a bit because there is some resistance from this seal already. So it means that I have good sealing. There will be no issue with opening the seal under pressure like I have right now. Here we are with the pistol, completely assembled. I'm really curious how it will shoot because there's so many parts to make it as hard kicking as possible. I'm like really stoked to see how it will work. So the pressure now, okay? As usual, reload before connecting. Okay, and let's try it.
Oh, cool. Oh. Ale mocność. Oh.
Mamo, pomocy! And now the shit holster goes away. Welcome, a real one. Hey you, freeze! Okay, holster up. And so the frog engineer was the first one to discover that with hardcore blowback you can reach the outer space. Therefore, Elon Musk was never meant to be the first one to put the man on the Mars.